Hey guys, I've just played a couple of games against a bot trained on the basis of Garry Kasparov's games. And I've played both of them at 90% accuracy and they both were crazy. I got to feel the strength, at least some part of the strength of Garry Kasparov, one of the goats of chess himself. And both games were crazy. I did it, by the way, on an airplane. I love playing chess on airplanes. Turkish Airlines this time had this Kasparov chess app, and I delved into it and I enjoyed it very much. The games both were very instructive, so let's dive into them. So in the first one, I'm playing the bot at the medium level. So at first I didn't know how to choose level. I just started playing and I didn't know that I could choose the level. So that was the default one. And here is the game. I go e4, d5, the Scandinavian defense. Honestly, Kasparov was not a big fan of Scandinavian defense. I thought that it would be more proper for the bot to play c5, the Sicilian, his favorite opening for black, but nonetheless, okay, d5, maybe Kasparov would have played some stupid opening against me because I'm much lower rated. So, okay, I take, he takes, I attack the queen, this is all standard, and there are three main moves here for black: queen e5, queen d8, and queen d6. All lead to interesting positions, even though the Scandinavian is not the best opening and white will get an advantage everywhere. But my opponent here plays queen e6 check, and I was like, Garry Kasparov would never have played this. This queen is blocking the bishop. It's blocking this pawn that would enable the other bishop to come out. And it's just a bad move. It's the engine says it's already +1 for white. So it's bad for the coordination of pieces. And I just block. I just develop. And now another move that Kasparov would never have played. Queen g6. Again, moving the queen fourth time in a row. 1, 2, 3, third time in a row, but still none of the black's pieces are out yet. Only the queen is moving. You should not play chess like that. Maybe if you're Garry Kasparov, you can get away with this. So let's see what happens next. It's just sheer disrespect out of the opening. He's attacking this pawn, but is he really going to take that pawn? Move the queen in the fourth time in a row? I'll just give it up. I'll just play like Kasparov would have played against this. So I go knight f3. I sacrifice this pawn. By the way, it's a top engine move. I decided, yeah, he can take this, but my pieces will just go in. I'm just going to demolish him if he doesn't develop and his king is still in the center. So he takes the bait, I attack him, and he goes to h3. So I have developed 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. He has developed just one, the queen, and I wouldn't even say that it's a favorable development because here queen might get attacked. So he spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves moving the queen, giving me a handicap. So I was very happy. I was like, am I going to beat Garry Kasparov here? I go d4, prepare to develop the bishop, and I want to castle alone and just destroy my opponent. Yes, he has a pawn, but his pieces will not have enough time to develop, and I'll just kill him. So he goes c6, preventing knight jumps to b5 or d5, because that would be very, very dangerous. I activate my bishop. Actually, it's a mistake. The engine says that rook g3 is practically winning on the spot, but developing a bishop is also not the worst move. I still have a +1 advantage. He develops his bishop, trying to pin me, but it's not a real pin because my bishop is defending everything. And here I go queen d3. I prepare to castle alone and to try to destroy my opponent. The most important thing when your opponent's king is still in the center and he is or she is lacking in development is to blow open the center and to destroy the opponent before he or she has had time to regroup to protect the king. So this is what I'm doing, what my coach taught me. He develops, and now I castle alone. And it would be suicidal for black to castle alone here because this bishop is taking away this square, and the king here will not have safety. Knight b5 is very strong here because if black takes here, then queen c3 check is mate in 4. So this is just crushing. So of course Kasparov does not castle alone. He feels, or his bot feels this, and instead he goes knight g to f6, developing further. And here I strike in the center. It's time. d5. I know that I should strike before he has had time to develop, because if I do nothing, if I just shuffle my pieces, he'll go g6, bishop g7, castle short, and maybe he will have a decent position. I will not give him this chance, so I go d5. He attacks my bishop with his knight. If he takes here, then again, I can take here, or I can go knight b5 with these threats, so it's not pleasant. So instead of taking, he goes for active counterplay, very Kasparov-esque idea, but I just drop back, and he takes, I take, his queen is hanging, he drops back, and now it's a complete massacre. So first of all, I take his pawn on c6, of course, opening up the d-file for my attack. He takes back. Now this is unfortunately for me defended, but it's not looking good for black here. Here I find great prophylactic move that the engine says is the best actually, king b1. Just sidestepping any checks that could have occurred over there, and now I'm free to attack my opponent, and my opponent does not have enough time. My opponent goes rook d8, trying to like cuddle with the pieces with the king, but I just destroy him. Here I go rook takes g4, which is a brilliant move according to the chess.com's engine. I'm sacrificing the rook for a bishop, and the idea is that that bishop was the only active piece black had, and now black has 0 active pieces, and I go knight e5. I'm double attacking the queen, and I'm also putting pressure on d7. And if the queen were to retreat like this, for example, staying in contact with d7, then I would go bishop g4 and just kill black over there. So queen e6 loses. Kasparov bot chooses queen f4, attacking the knight, and it's a tricky move because if I take, I could have taken, and the engine still says it's winning, but it requires some precision after queen c7 because now this is hanging and this is pinned, and there's only one move for white that is winning here, which is knight b5, sacking the knight. I didn't see it from afar, but I saw that I'm not obliged to take this d7 knight. Instead, I took the c6 pawn. I want to take this rook now, and the rook cannot leave the defense of the knight, so he has to drop back. Now I take the rook, he takes back. Now we have material equality, but look at my pieces and look at his pieces. His bishop and his rook are not participating. He's playing just with 3 pieces, king, queen, and knight, and I'm playing with all my pieces. And I'm attacking him. His king is weak, and it's just massacre. I attack his queen. I do not give him time, give him respite to have some time to coordinate his pieces. I just attack him again, take the pawn, attack him again. Now I go queen a6, and it's over. I want to go bishop c6, and this will get taken and he will get destroyed. So I go bishop c6, and I will not show the rest of the game, but I won very, very easily. This is like a winning position. He has to give up the queen now, and it's over. So you can see the final screenshot of proving that I won that game. And then I realized it was not Kasparov, the ultimate Kasparov. It was just medium level bot. And I was like, okay, I need to play the GOAT. I need to play the Kasparov level, which is like the highest level in that app. So let's see the game that I played against that. So you see I'm in the settings, chose the right settings. Now I love the challenge. I was like, okay, he's probably going to destroy me, but let's see how it goes. e4, and then again he goes d5. I don't know, it was some glitch of the bot or what, but it decided to pick the same opening. I was not afraid of it. And again, he goes into this weird variation. Maybe I somehow like broke the bot. I don't know. If you play it on Turkish Airlines, this app, please do drop a comment. Did you have the same thing? Because it's really weird. So I block, he goes queen g6 again. I go knight f3, I again sack this pawn. He takes the pawn, I attack the queen, he goes queen h3. And I knew that it's very bad for black. I even had a little bit of time to analyze. I had my cell phone. I opened up an engine on the cell phone in between the games, and I checked how well I played the previous game, and I was like, oh, well, I didn't make any mistake. And I even, like in the previous game, I chose, I think, d4 here as the move. After that game, I double checked, and I saw an even stronger move, bishop c4 here in this position, which I did because I already knew in the second game that this is the top engine move. So I chose it this time. And the idea is very simple. I want to take here, and if he takes, knight g5 check forks the king and the queen and wins the game. So yes, I'm moving the bishop the second time in a row, but I'm creating concrete threats, and it's very dangerous for black. Black has to defend. Here he goes knight h6, defending this square with the knight, but it looks really ugly. I go d4. Now I'm on my own. I didn't know what to do. The engine moves after this moment, but d4 is very logical, and yes, it's a top stockfish move I see here. Well, I just want to probably, in some scenarios, take this knight, or maybe wait a little bit, put the bishop here like I did in the previous game. So I'm really confident in my position. I know that somehow I will screw it up and Kasparov will outplay me, but I don't know how he's going to do this because he has no pieces out. So okay, bishop e6 is a crazy move. Stockfish doesn't like it. Kasparov, I'm not sure if Kasparov would have chosen that move, but he tries to untangle. If I take, for example, he'll take, giving me a check, and black is already better because black has an extra pawn and black will untangle. But of course I do not take. I do not want to take this bishop. Instead, I go rook g3, attacking the queen. And then I go rook g5, attacking the queen, and I realize that I'm trapping his queen. He has to give up the queen, because the only square he has is this, but then I have 94. And the queen has no squares. My pieces are just beautifully coordinated here. And I realized, wow, am I getting a winning position against Garry Kasparov? He sacks the queen for a rook and a minor piece, and actually material-wise the position is equal, because he has taken one pawn, one rook, and one minor piece for a queen, which is equal material, but still his king is in the center and he's not developed enough. And I was like, I'm at least very much better, if not outright winning. I go b3, kicking his bishop. He drops back. Very clumsy position for the bishop, by the way, but he has to drop back to e6. I guess if he drops back here, I have this, and this is unpleasant. So bishop e6. Now I go d5. I try to exploit my initiative, put more pressure on him. He drops back. Now I go bishop f4. With all my moves, I'm creating threats. This is what Kasparov would have done. Hopefully, he would be probably more impressive with everything on the chessboard. But in principle, this is what he would have done as well. So I'm putting pressure. He goes c5. c5 is a great move. The engine doesn't say it's the top engine choice, but I really liked it during the game. Because the idea is that instead of passive defense, he wants to a little bit advance himself. If I take en passant, he'll just take and I will just help him activate the pieces. So of course I don't want to take en passant, but otherwise this pawn is no longer hanging. So he has solved this problem for the time being. I go knight e5, trying to put pressure. Maybe I want to take his bishop because I was a little bit afraid that he has the two bishops advantage, and Garry Kasparov with two bishops should be very strong, very formidable. So he goes g6, tries to put the bishop over there, and I'm like, okay, I take, and I go knight b5. Finally, I have this threat, and it's very difficult to counter. If black castles long here, knight takes a7 is a very funny mating one, because the king has no squares. Of course, Kasparov doesn't blunder that, but the idea is that I can check him and win an exchange. So he has to go rook c8, defending from this, but I still can check him. He goes king d8. Now his king has lost the castling right, and from afar, I was counting on a move that chess.com says is a brilliant move. Knight e6 check. Yeah, I'm proud of myself. So this move, of course, apart from being a check, serves the purpose of opening up the d-file, again with the same theme as mentioned in the previous game. So I'm threatening this. If he goes here, then I'll take. So the only defense for him is to go either here or here, but then I'll, like if he goes here, I probably have c3, or first take and then c3. And if he goes here, I can just take here again. And his king is very weak, and I don't see an immediate win, but it's definitely much better for white. The engine, of course, wins this easily. So, but I'm playing against Kasparov's bot, and I'm my knees are trembling, shaking. Thankfully, my neighbor, the guy who was sitting next to me, was dozing at this time. He was sleeping. He didn't see how agitated I was. I was like, am I like going to crush Kasparov? And Kasparov goes king 8, and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So I've checked him one time. Now I can check him back, but he'll go back and we'll repeat moves. And I'm like, am I going to win this game? Do I have winning chances? I thought probably I should be much better. I didn't see at this time the evaluation bar saying that I'm plus 2.6, so obviously close to winning according to the engine, but I didn't know that. I thought, okay, material is equal. If he untangles, he'll crush me because it's Kasparov bot. I have to prevent him from untangling. Can I do that? And I was thinking, I was calculating like 10 minutes, I think. I saw that I can take here, but then he'll take either by rook or by king, and I don't see an immediate killer blow. And if he untangles, if he goes then here, puts his knights on good squares, rooks, then maybe I'll lose this game, very likely. Then I thought in this position that after king e8 I could do something else, but I didn't know what exactly. Like, I don't have enough pieces to checkmate him. And at the end of the day, the engine, by the way, says that queen f3 is very strong, because if he takes, I take, and I'm down material, but his knight is hanging, and if the knight moves, then I take here, and if this, then this, and his king is like smothered by its own pieces and it's winning. But I didn't think about that move. Not very easy to see, I think. So instead of sacking the knight, I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a draw against the GOAT, against Garry Kasparov, or one of the GOAT at least, one of the GOATs at least, if you count maybe Magnus and him are top 2 contenders. By the way, who do you think is the GOAT? Write it in the comments. So I decided, okay, I'll check him and I'll make a draw. I'll take a draw against the greatest, or one of the greatest chess players of all time. And it's a draw. Wow, guys, I didn't expect it. Maybe it was some glitch in the bot. What do you think about the games? I'm looking forward to your comments. And hopefully I can record a podcast with the real Garry Kasparov and play a game against him and get crushed like like I expected to be after this game. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.